guess we start the meeting. I'm calling the meeting to order at 11:40. The roll call, on present, Marina Moreno,
Raul Medina, present.
David Lopez, present.
Angelica Ramirez, present.
Alexa Huerta present.
Ana Guerrero, present.
Linda Llanos present.
Catalina Güero, present.
Elizabeth Alonso Villarreal present.
Manuel Maciel, LPD, present.
Nancy Cadena, present.
Cristina Duarte present. Erica Lopez present.
Burgess, present.
Maria Stein present.
Okay, we do not need quorum this time. So, is there any public comments?
There's
Oh,
no-
there's Mr. Alonso.
So now we do
So
have
now we
a quorum.
do, okay.
We're not on this.
Okay, so.
So you do have
we
quorum.
have quorum. Okay, we don't have any minutes. I guess we can go on to the next item, administrator report.
I know Mr. Walls is out, so he wanted me to report, which is on the detox update and the administrative report. Still no update on the detox. It's still in the same stage of where we reported last time. They are beginning construction, so hopefully I think the estimated date, fingers crossed, will be March of this year, where construction will be done, which doesn't seem so far off anymore. And also business continues as usual. Everything is still moving forward with the detox as planned and as scheduled. He did want me to mention that on the agenda, the left side where it does have those, the board members, we do have an asterisk on some of those board members, and it's just to note, identify those individuals who were new members were appointed. So therefore, those board members are still currently on the Drug and Alcohol Commission unless the new council member reappoints them or appoints somebody else differently. So for those individuals that do have an asterisk on their name and do want to continue on the Board of Drug and Alcohol, we do recommend you to reach out to the new council member to see if they can go ahead and reappoint you. So you will be appointed by the new council member. I believe it's only a couple. So in the meantime, that if they don't appoint anybody else yet, they're pretty much like interim still part of the board.
Okay.
And that's it for Mr.
I
Walls.
think I'd rather be a stakeholder.
Thank you.
No, because you come, so we meet.
Yes, thank you, Erica. Oh, okay, discussion and, possible action, combined agency event.
We are still moving forward in regards to AOT with the City of Laredo Health Department. We have scheduled another meeting with Judge Martinez. We already had a meeting with Judge Villarreal, since it does have to be with our civil judges, since it is court-ordered outpatient services, which is very different than anything else that we have here in Laredo. So we do have a meeting with Judge Martinez. We met with Judge Villarreal. It was a support. We also have the meeting with Judge Martinez, which are some of our stakeholders, including Border Region, LPD Mental Health, and Webb County Sheriff's Mental Health will be a part of it. We are located on West Village, and PD Mental Health has slowly started moving in as well. So they are part of our liaison group, so they will be stationed with us temporarily in and out. Of course, they're always out in the community, but they also have a reporting station there with us. And that's it for now. Hopefully, we're looking into April where we'll getting our full load of clients. We did get an estimate of approximately 48 clients that meet the criteria to become a part of AOT, and our numbers our required numbers are 30. So we do see that there is a need out in the community, and that 48 is just those individuals with repeat hospitalizations. We haven't even tapped into the repeated incarcerations. So hopefully as soon as one or both judges jump on board, we'll be ready to go.
Great. Thank you, Erica, for that update. For B, for the subcommittee, group calendar planning, I know Mr. Jesse's the one that keeps up with that. He has everything. He didn't make it today, so I guess we can move on to the next item. Roundtable meet and greet event. I don't know, I think we were planning to do that for the upcoming, I think, what did they say? Did they say March?
March.
Yeah, we wanted to do an event, and bring, more people also to come to the meetings and tell us what their organizations are doing and stuff, so we can have more information and probably put it on the updated list here in the health department website. The commission membership, that's what Erica mentioned on, getting new, members for the vacant spots. We do need some more people to help us out so we can. Community, I think, Ms. Dominguez, Dr. Dominguez, you know somebody that,
Yes,
okay, so you can talk
I
to,
can recommend.
okay,
And I know, Dr. Taylor King also, so
Okay.
he needs to appoint somebody.
yes.
Mhm.
Gerardo, you're gonna stay with us, right?
Huh?
Okay, and then, for the next item, the detox facility update, Eric already gave her report. I don't know if anybody has any other updates. I know Mara would, but she didn't make it. And if not, I guess we can go to our presentation. We have Mr. Eric Estrada.
Do you need me to stand up or I can?
It's up to you.
I have if I can see or I have or you have a picture? Okay, that's fine, I'll send it. I'm used to standing up there. So. So real quick, my name is Eric Estrada. I'm the Public Information Officer for the South Region. Along with me is, I don't know if you guys seen it, Fox News. My lieutenant always comes out. His name is Christopher Olivares. And then we're in the stages of right now of hiring a new Public Information Officer who will handle the Del Rio area. As of now, I handle the Del Rio district, which is about 12 counties for me. I cover all the way to Edwards County for any kind of public media relations or anything like that. Anyone here does like interviews or anything like that? Yes? Okay, I really. There you go.
Yes,
You
go
take it.
ahead.
Yeah. I really recommend, there's one out of Sam Houston University. It's Public Information Officer, and then there's one that FBI LIDA also does. And that one, I believe it's called Public Relations or something like that. That one's a little bit pricey. It's about $695. It's for it's about 5 days. But the other one's a little bit more affordable. The other ones, I believe it's like $200, something on that. And I recommend that one. That one actually, they'll give you camera time, so they'll bring in different reporters and they'll do curveballs at you and stuff like that. So good thing that the local media they like it.
work with you.
No, and I was actually unfortunately that was the way I was kind of thrown into it, but I handled some of the media over there with the Uvalde incident, and I did some national news. I think I did like Anderson Cooper. What's this? CNN. My lieutenant's like, you handle CNN, I'll handle Fox News. I'm like, oh, yeah. Okay, sure.
So we have a pro in here, we have a.
In the Navy, he must have known. No, but I have difficulties more is like with Spanish. My Spanish is not perfect. I try my best. Sometimes I'll go Google Translate, but they'll give me some crazy words. Stuff like that, so it's pretty good. But I'm here to talk to you a little bit about fentanyl, some of the dangerous drugs that we are seeing, not only here in Laredo, but statewide. As you guys know, we're running this operation called Operation Lone Star, which is mostly kind of deterrents to kind of push back, all the mass illegal migration that's going on here, not here in Laredo, but everywhere else. But along with that is the fentanyl that's also coming across. Fentanyl is very dangerous. I've never personally encountered it. I know some of our officers have. The only thing with fentanyl is that it's very difficult to test fentanyl because it's always laced with another drug, right? So you have methamphetamine or you have amphetamines or whatever you may have, they might be laced with fentanyl. So it's very difficult. We don't know sometimes it's fentanyl until we actually take it to the lab, get it tested, which is why they always tell us to wear gloves. So, just some of the stats, this is of course, this is a little bit dated, but this is for November 17, 2022. I need to get the ones for January, but basically if you guys go all the way to the fentanyl seizures right here, we have 308 pounds. And as much as 308 pounds might not seem a lot when you compare it to like cocaine or marijuana seizures, it is, if you look at the lethal doses it creates, it's concerning. And what's dangerous right now is, especially with our kind of like our young teenagers, that they're trying all these crazy drugs. I also had a certificate. I just let it go. I should have had, but I was a drug recognition expert here in DRE.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what his name was, but you guys have a DRE room.
And we're starting to kick it back on.
That's good.
It's going on next month, I believe.
So that, they say it's one of the most difficult trainings you could go, at least in the DPS side. It's a whole month. Basically, I was in a hotel for a whole month. They got me a nice hotel, but man, I was going crazy in there. It's about 8 to 10 hours each day, and about 3 more hours of study each day that you have to do. And basically what it is that we do a 12-step evaluation process. So let's say someone arrests you, sir, and then the trooper, he sees all these signs of intoxication. He does his SFSTs, you go blow into the machine, and you blow straight zeros. Well, now, you know, that trooper is like, okay, well, this guy, he's impaired, but obviously not in alcohol. But when I go to court, they're gonna fight me on that, right? So then they bring me and I do a 12-step process. I do everything from, I check your muscle tone, I check your blood pressure, your pulse rate, your eyesight, like dilation, if it's constricted. And based off that evaluation, I'm able to determine what drug category you may be under the influence of.
Yeah, well, what good does that do in court?
So they bring me as the expert to testify on what you're under the influence. So once I do my part, we'll do a drug law on you, and then the blood draw will, but basically in order for us to get a blood draw, you know, the trooper reads that, we call it the DAC 24, right? And it's like, hey, why did the trooper ask for a breath specimen, but now he's changing his mind to blood? Is it because he doesn't know what he's doing, or is it because someone else told him to do that? So that's when they bring me. So that's kind of where it plays a big
So
part.
do you do a drug, do you get
Blood test.
a court order?
Yeah, so we have to get a district judge to basically sign the order that they'll put there on the nose the evaluation that I did.
Okay.
I did a total of, I think, during my period, I think I did like 7 evaluations, and out of all of them, I think only one of them I kind of missed it. And the reason I missed it, what I believe is that this person was under the influence of K2, and it's like spice, kind of like synthetic marijuana. And synthetic marijuana is crazy because it could give me all the symptoms of one thing and then all the symptoms of another thing. So that was kind of like my miss right there, but. This picture is very popular. You go to Google and just put a fentanyl, it's probably going to give you a penny, and basically it's kind of in comparison of a lethal dose of fentanyl. Obviously, there's another drug that's actually even more powerful than fentanyl, and it's called carfentanil. And so we have the lethal dose for heroin, lethal dose for fentanyl, and then that's carfentanil, which is literally like a grain of salt, right? Like it's small, so very dangerous. I know there's videos out there where it shows some officers handling certain drugs and then they pass, you know, they kind of like pass out because they're touching it without gloves, or sometimes it even absorbs through the gloves, so very dangerous. obviously here, I don't think no one does drugs, right? No, that's a trick question. I was waiting for someone to. When we do the DR evaluations for our test, towards the end, we have to do 20 evaluations, and there are active evaluations. We go to the jail, we get volunteers, and basically they volunteer to give me an evaluation, and then they do a urine test. It doesn't go against their charges or anything, they're just volunteering. I always give them a phone call, give them free chips, and they volunteer there. But I met this lady, she was actually a nurse, and she got hooked on methamphetamine. She said she went to a party, she had broke her arm, she had never tried drugs in her life. Not even like marijuana, nothing. Went to a party, her friend offered her a drug because she was in so much pain. The friend gave her meth, and she got hooked on meth. And now she's on meth, heroin, but meth is not even a pain reliever. Meth is like a upper, right? Like it's good for you up. Heroin is a pain reliever. They gave her heroin, or morphine or something like that, but gave her methamphetamine. And then what's crazy is that a lot of these people, drug addicts, I can't remember the definition, but the actual word, but we have a certain state, right, where we want to be balanced. So meth will increase, and then you'll start going down, and then you increase, you start going down, but then you go too down, and now you need a drug, and or sometimes you kind of get too high, but you want to bring down, and you're always trying to get to that level, which is kind of crazy because you're at a normal state. So they do these things called I think they're called speedballs, if I'm not mistaken, where they combine the drugs because they're trying to get to normal, right? So it's crazy. This one is from DEA, but Adderall and then oxycodone. You can see the real pill, the fake pill, the real pill, and the fake pill for Adderall. I honestly thought, without looking at the real fake on the Adderall side, I thought the one on the bottom was the real pill. They have these pressers, these drug traffickers, they press to make it seem like, they're the real thing. So very, very dangerous. I always recommend you guys share with, even with everybody, right? But basically, don't share prescription drugs. If a friend offers you Adderall or offers you oxycodone or whatever, I'm not saying that they're not a true friend, but we just don't know where they got it from. And that's illegal too. If you're carrying, I'm sorry, I keep picking on you, sir. You're just as close as here. But, well, actually she is, but you're like pulled out. So, yeah, if I pull you over and you have Adderall and you have a prescription or the bottle, your name's not on there, then you can get arrested for that. Obviously, we use our common sense. If it's your dad or your mom's car, and I pull you over and you tell me, hey, it's my son, and you give me proof that it is your son, that, common sense too. So. Has anyone ever seen these?
Yes.
So they look like the real deal, right? So yes, on the last presentation, if you guys, the one we did by team, was it teams or the coalition? Yeah. So we did catch a lady with these type of chips. She was coming from California. That's usually where they're from. And what's dangerous about these is that they obviously have THC, but from what I've been told is that no single chip has the same amount of THC compared to the other chip. So one might have 10, the other one might have 30, but in total it has 500, right?
So are these actually chips?
Yeah, so they look like
So they're
chips.
sprayed with like THC?
Well, the constants, how they make them, they have THC in them. Yeah, and we actually pulled over this. Also another thing you guys need to be aware of, these smoke shops, right? They sell this legal CBD and all this stuff, right? A lot of them also been rated, right? Because they also sell marijuana, they sell THC. We caught this lady and she had bought, who smokes here? Like not marijuana, like just cigarettes. For those trick questions. Are you here to give a presentation or here to arrest? Whoever smokes, have you guys seen the Camel Crush? And what's particular about the Camel Crush? They have like a little thing, right? Like you pop it and menthol and stuff. We pulled over this lady and she had a Camel Crush, right? So my thing is like we searched car and it smelled like marijuana. She said, no, I never smoked marijuana. Sir, like anything you've bought, anything that your son's bought. No, pues, I know we bought these Camel Crush from a vape shop, but they said they're CBD. Okay, so we looked at the thing, and sure enough, after investigation, it ended up being marijuana. But it was a Camel Crush cigarette, but it had green leafy substance right inside, and it reeked of marijuana. Like it was marijuana. Like I know what marijuana smells like. So very, very careful what you guys buy, especially. I mean, I don't think Valero or anything like that are doing anything illegal, but like there's smoke shops and stuff like that. Just be very careful what you guys buy in there.
But even in some gas stations now, you see certain things. Not the main, like the Valero, Circle K, but in the other smaller ones.
Like the
You
mom
see-
and
The
pop.
mom and
Yeah.
You see the
Definitely see
the grinders and all that stuff, right?
Or the truck stop.
The truck stop.
Yeah.
Yes. The governor had launched this. Basically, I'm not gonna go through the whole thing, but basically, does anyone know what it saves lives. Sometimes it's a tool, right? And it doesn't necessarily always work, but it's a good tool for us all to have. And basically, this is part of the OLS and the Operation Lone Star, where they issued out more Narcan statewide. And then obviously they have more programs for everybody, for people for substance abuse, basically for recovery. Is there recovery programs here in Cedar also? Like the clinic here?
Not for
That are being
substances,
offered?
no.
No?
No, I think the only ones that offer like the rehabilitation will be SCAN that offers the rehabilitation. I mean, they do offer SCAN and other agencies outpatient substance use, but no.
I'm gonna go a little bit in DWIs. That's kind of like DPS, right? Like that's our bread and butter. But unfortunately, we did have several accidents, right? Several people that died also during the holidays. It's something that we're always out there enforcing. And alcohol, I think the main issue with alcohol, just in my opinion, is that alcohol sometimes gives us a little bit too much valor, right? Like you normally do stuff that you wouldn't do without alcohol, which is why a lot of girls or guys drink it. They drink it for socially, or they drink it because they're coping with sadness, they're coping with some sort of emotion. But everybody knows the 0.08, right? Mm-hmm. So can I just question? Can I arrest someone if they blow 0.03?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. What can I not do with that person with their license?
Remove it.
Yes, so if they blow underneath, I'm not able to suspend the license unless they refuse. Like if they refuse, then I can. But like let's say they don't refuse, they blow under, and I can still arrest them. It's just I can't suspend the license. And then for CMV, it's a little bit different. But from my experience, from people I've arrested, I used to work in Eagle Pass. I worked there for 3 years. So as you guys can imagine, I arrested a lot of drunks there. Why? Does everybody know why? What's the casino, right? The casino. Yes, everybody goes to the casino. I never won, so don't go there. But no, basically, what I see is that even people who are blowing under 0.08, a lot of people who don't have experience drinking, they're all over the road. Why? Because they're also doing other things. They're messing with the radio. They're either turning on a cigarette. They're turning on the radio. They're messing with their phones or whatever it may be. Any questions so far? What does it mean to have tolerance? Does that necessarily mean that no? So if you have, give you a trick question. If you have a 150-pound male, a 150-pound female, and they're both physically the same fat, same muscle tone, same everything. Who do you think will blow less?
ma'am?
Why? You're in the right track. Why?
I don't know, men have more muscle tone that
Yes.
burns the.
Yes.
okay.
You're hired.
Yeah.
Yeah, so females have more fatty tissue in them, and alcohol absorbs faster into fat. So if you have a person who is 200 pounds, so there's a myth, right? You always have that uncle, they say, oh, my uncle can drink a lot, he's big, he could drink the whole 12 pack like nothing. And yeah, he may be kind of wandering around talking and everything, but at the time when he does blow, he's gonna blow extremely high, especially if he has less muscle tone than versus someone else who's more athletic. The athletic person just might seem more drunk because he has no experience, but he'll actually blow a little bit lower than the other person. So just for you guys to understand how that works. This is, and I think you guys have all, who here has observed someone driving with no lights at night? Yes. Who here, let me ask you this question. Who here drives a Dodge Charger? Like a brand, not a brand new, but a 2020 and up.
Because they saw you wrong.
Have you ever driven without your lights? No, that like to drive with just that little, I guess they're like driving lights, because they're very bright too. So sometimes I pull them over, not because I pull them over because I think they're a hazard, right? But they might be drunk and that's the headlights, and they're driving without the lights.
Yeah, but it also depends because nowadays, as you see, like a lot of LPD state troopers have chargers as undercover vehicles. Like for instance, mine is like completely army green, so they always think that I'm a border patrol. But it's like it all depends on the color of the vehicle as well.
Yes. No, I agree. That's some of the things that we see driving without the headlights. Another thing that I would like to, I'm gonna give all the hints, that way you guys take notes right here. Loud music, like after 12, in a car. Cigarettes, people who light up cigarettes at night also, for the most part, they had some sort of alcohol. Sometimes they're trying to mask the odor of the cigarette. The signal lights too. People who are intoxicated like to exaggerate their signal lights. Like, no one lives here in the Loop subdivision. That subdivision off the curve on Route 20. That's dangerous, some turns right there. But like there, you would have to exaggerate your turn. But people, sometimes they'll stay with a blinker on for long periods of time. That's just you guys. Difficulty exiting the vehicle, or when we turn on the lights, they take a while to pull over just because they're either trying to conceal the open container, they're trying to do something. Anybody have any questions on this? No? The offenses, I won't go through all of them, but basically, we always say don't drink and drive. Apart from the embarrassment, because I work a lot with the media, and especially like us, like law enforcement, right? Like imagine I get arrested and I'm the spokesperson for DPS. I'll probably be in LMT for at least a week or something. But I think the embarrassment is more the issue, and then LMT, Laredo More Intense, loves to, I think every month they do like top 10 drunk photos or mug shots or something, and those never go away. And then once you get arrested, everything becomes kind of public. So the offense is obviously you can lose your license, the fines, and then not only that, but now you're suspended. You have to get to work. You have to be getting rides. Like it's a big inconvenience.
Sir, let me just ask you
Yes,
something.
You know, there's so many, who go through the courts and everything, and it's just a slap on the hand. Because the third offense, is that just the offense, or they have to be convicted?
It has to be convicted.
There you go, so, yeah. So
That's-
that's the thing, because they're not convicted, it can be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. But that's why I say, you know, we're never gonna really make a dent if it just keeps on with that, like donations, like, and I've always said, you know, and I found it bad. I wish one day I didn't have to exist. But, you know, we appreciate the donations because we help others, you know, in the community who've been victims, but until the laws change,
Right.
you know, it's gonna continue.
Yeah.
It's not the laws, it's the compadres.
Well, but also in the laws, it says it has to be
Yeah,
a
it has to be
conviction.
convictions, and I wish we would adopt like certain programs that we have, like, for example, I think like in Bear County, they have like the, I think it would deter a lot of people, like.
And that is what,
what?
the funding for the overtime and all that.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of different players that have to be part of
So
it.
we're applying for it, as LPD, we're applying for it recently, and we're in the works of getting the courts involved, the DAs, a medical person to actually to make it work. So we're in the process of doing,
And
we
we
tried it
will-
before, but nobody else has kind of like
I
participated.
hope
so-
it does, we would be a big supporter of that, and again, you know, when I know TxDOT has funding opportunity, I mean, we'd love to apply, we don't want the money, we wanna give it to
And it's through
whoever.
TxDOT that
Yeah,
we're-
through TxDOT.
Yeah.
And did you all know that in Tennessee, they said that anybody that kills somebody while drinking and driving is supposed to pay child
You'll
support?
pay child-
Everywhere, not only in Tennessee.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
definitely put some people,
Yeah.
you know, out of room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not, you know, I mean, it's easy, right, like to come up here and say like, hey, don't drink and drive, but, you know, there's a lot of people that do it for certain reasons, you know, there's different reasons why they do it. Some people have been doing it for years, like they've been drinking and driving for years, especially like, your older generations. You know, like the older generation that doesn't like wear their seatbelts. Educate them, and then their kids see that, or you know, they're dragged, and then they just kind of carry on.
It's all in the way you portray yourself, so.
Yes, yes. No, I agree with you, but yes, the third offense, it has to be a conviction, and then that's when we do the mandatory. Or even like an arrest, and this guy's been arrested for
Exactly.
like 5 or 6 times.
Exactly,
So,
and that's a slap in the hand that they get.
Yeah, but nowadays, law enforcement, the DA and that, they're a lot more careful giving people breaks, because when you have 2, and then the third one, they go out and they kill somebody, they're gonna say, well, why didn't anything happen the first 2 times? And I have a case, somebody that I know, and he just never even did the probation, you know, none of those, who's the one, Victor Villarreal, that gives the drug? The mail that I have to go do all this stuff. I said, pues chinga, ya. Digo, ya no te van a poder ayudar, no matter how much money you pay, you know, and,
yeah, no, and you're right, and I'd say the same thing with like our warnings. So like us, we have to get printed out. That's why I think everybody thinks we're like real like mean or something. When we come out with that little clipboard, right? Don't assume like it's always a ticket. Like we have to print out our warnings. Like it's policy. We have to do it, and that's come back because of some people that. You saw that one? It was a black female.
Sandra Bland Act.
Not.
That's
Well,
part of it.
yeah, that's part of it, but there was one right after that female, I think it was in the Houston area. But those warnings or those tickets, they're like timestamps, right? And they have what we call traffic stop. It automatically sends like a ping and it prints it on the warning. So that way, if you come here and you say, hey, I got pulled over on this road, at this time, around this location, we're able to see what trooper you got. So that's kind of like for our protection and then your protection as well.
Let me move over there.
Yeah, I'll start way later. This case. Real nice, right, to drive up there. Real nice road, like as far as landscapes, but very dangerous too. We've had a lot of fatal crashes here. Concan, not anymore. Concan used to be a dry county, which means that you weren't able to buy alcohol. You had to buy alcohol in Uvalde, or there's a little town called Lakey. So that Lakey store in the corner, man, it was always packed. But that was a problem. I tell people, man, if you're planning on going out with your family, you rent a cabin, buy enough alcohol or alcoholic beverages to where you guys can remain at the house. Don't. What I'm saying is, like, these people, they'll go out, they buy like tallies, they buy 2-3 tallies, and then they go out again for another 2-3 tallies, and they're just right here. That's the aftermath, but I'm trying to take this. He's driving this dually, and you can see, the one behind him is not a police officer. He's actually is a concerned citizen that was recording. And the thing is here, radio reception is very poor. Cellular usage is very poor. So I believe he was able to get to 911, but by the time we were able to send someone or a county unit or anything, it was a little bit too late. But you can see where he's kind of like all over the road. He tested positive for marijuana. So, combination of bad things, but that's basically what happened. He went head on, almost head on with it was like a small passenger bus, and they're all elderly people. I believe they're all over the age of 70, and he killed, I believe it was 13 of them. I personally think this guy should have gotten live. They gave him actually 55. A church, it's like a retreat or something like that, but basically they weren't even from here, from Texas. Most of them were from California and stuff like that. So very unfortunate.
And the driver was really young, right? If I remember.
Yes, he was 21.
Wow.
I think that's his actual last name, Young. Jack D. Young. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. These are the fatalities: 2019, 2020, 2021. 3,300, 2019, 2020, 35, and then 2021, 4,000. It seems to be increasing even through the COVID.
I was gonna say,
It was
is it-
going up, and we're trying to figure that out. I thought more people, there's gonna be more. I'm sure you guys got more like domestic violences and stuff like that. But I thought less people were driving, but apparently now there's
It's
more.
just Webb
fatal crashes.
County or?
No, this is statewide. No, this is statewide. And then it's broken up, right? Like CMVs, teen drivers, urban, rural. But I always tell people, like, people just see these like numbers, right? But every single number here is a life. So I always say that, and it could range anywhere from 1-year-old, newborn, all the way to your elderly people. But that's why I always try and emphasize on the numbers. It's not just numbers; it's a life up there. Questions, comments, concerns?
I had a question regarding K2. I know a couple years ago we did see the increase of K2, and that was pretty much the drug everybody was more concerned with, and then now it's fentanyl. Have you all noticed a decrease in K2 or more of the synthetic drugs since fentanyl has been?
Here in the Laredo area, I think we have more of the synthetic marijuana than the fentanyl.
Okay.
Fentanyl, usually when it does cross like through the river or through the port of entries, they're in bigger quantities, and then they're obviously distributed once they make their destination. But here in Laredo, at least DPS, I've seen more of the THC used and then the synthetic, especially with the vapes now. The vapes is a big thing that even high schoolers are using, middle schoolers, and vapes they're very dangerous. One of my counterpartners, he does a presentation on vaping, and vapes is actually worse than smoking cigarettes. Do you know what produces the smoke on vapes? Does anyone know? No? When a car overheats, right, and it starts throwing smoke, there's an ingredient on the antifreeze that same ingredient is also in the vape liquid, and that's what produces that thick smoke that we see. So yeah,
So how is this even approved if it contains all that?
money. It's money.
Making law.
Yes, money. Unfortunately, it's money. But yeah, no, very very dangerous. Vapes they're quite dangerous for lungs too.
I have a question, I'm sorry,
Yes.
on the chips. Was that confiscated here?
So that exact picture not, but we did have a lady, and I think I have it there, and she did have several chips. She also had candies too. Yeah.
With THC?
Money comes down,
Right.
but when it comes to like these kind of unique products,
They're bringing
they
them from up there.
try to bring them down.
Because we have kids that are bringing them from up there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and they'll buy them. Like, like someone who uses cannabis or whatever, they'll be like, hey, I want to try some Ruffles with THC. So, little do they know, they keep this in the pantry and then the son gets it or someone else gets it, right? Like,
Well, that's very easy to sell at the school too. They won't get caught.
I mean, that's the thing right now, no? Like, Takis, preparados, and all that, right? Yeah. So, any more questions? No? Thank you, sir, for the
Presentation be shared with us or?
I think they make it public,
Can you
in
send
the
it?
meetings on
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know if you can share it with us. Can you share the
I'm sorry.
presentation with us?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Send it to me email?
You can send it to Maria, and then, or you can send it to me and I'll forward to Maria. Anything else? Anybody wants to add anything? No? Well, I guess, can I get a motion
To adjourn?
to adjourn? Mr. Alonso? Can I second that?